Arise, my son!
Now that's a lot of damage! More! More!
Remnant 2 The Awakened King has been an absolute blast, man. I've been having so much fun. Plus, there have been new items like rings, amulets, and mutators have been added to the game. These items make for very interesting builds. It's been kind of crazy. They have this one ring that's specific for heavy weapons, which we all know the engineer is the only one currently with access to a heavy weapon. So we have the adversary booster is a new ring. It's also a random drop, very easy to get if RNG's on your side, because it took me forever. But this ring will give you a 10% heavy weapon damage and critical chance increase while carrying the heavy weapon. This inspired me to create this insane engineer DPS build. To be honest, this build absolutely shreds through bosses. It's insane. Let's get started. The amulet I used was Index of the Scribe, increases skill and mod weak spot damage by 35%. I do want to let you know though, I will be making two builds in this video. One will be for weak spot damage, that one absolutely shreds, and then I'll give you one that is for enemies without or with hard to hit weak spots, and you still get a similar effect as far as the DPS, but when it comes to the weak spot build, the DPS is nuts. So we're going to be getting the Index of the Scribe. I'll be showing you guys this is a new amulet that's been added to the game. In order to get this amulet, you'll want to roll a Losum adventure in the Forlorn Coast. You'll want to progress until you reach the Drowned Wen. You'll want to follow this same exact route all the way through. Once you find the misplaced memoir, you want to go ahead and head to Lay Wise. You'll have to exhaust this dialogue. Make sure you don't interact with the book because it will give you a key, a medallion key. So don't interact with it. You'll want to exhaust the dialogue, then it'll give you an option to give him the book. You'll give him the book all the way through. I already did this, so there's no purpose in me showing you guys me getting the amulet. That's how you get Index of the Scribe. Next item on the list is the Crimson Dreamstone. Critical hits increase skill damage by 1% for 10 seconds, max 15 stacks. So you get a total 15% skill damage. And to get this ring, you'll need to go to the Ethereal Manor. You can get this event in either the Derelict Lighthouse, the Sunken Haunt, the Butcher's Quarter, and Cotton's Kiln. Then you'll want to go into the manor. It looks just like a mansion. You're pretty much you're going through the backside of a mansion. You'll want to go in through the door and you'll run into this guy, this Dran. He's just sitting in a chair, and you'll do the whole animation. He'll grab you and he'll take you to this dream realm. Then you're gonna want to take Liquid Escape. You should have this by default. So you're just gonna want to drink this while in that realm, and it's gonna take you to the Crimson Dreamstone right there on that throne. What? Dope. Legitimate dopeness. That's dope. Wow. I didn't, dude, that's crazy. There's so many secrets in this game, man. Then we have the probability cord for the 30% increase to critical damage. We also have the adversary booster, which gives you 10% increase to damage and critical chance when carrying a heavy weapon. And to get the adversary booster, it is a random drop on Narude. So if you're just participating in Narude in any adventure or campaign missions, you have a chance of getting it as long as it's in a random drop location on Narude. Now, I was torn between two rings here. You can go with Zanias Malice to replicate the exact same build you saw in the beginning of the video. Plus, you know, you'd have to get a bright stone throwable, but you use Zanias Malice or Akari Warband to capitalize on the extra critical damage and critical chance. But if you want the extra weak spot damage, then you can do the Zanias Malice. But I like the Akari Warband. That one was more consistent with the damage, even if I couldn't get easy access to the weak spot, so that felt better to me. And I won't be mentioning any of the weapons that I used for this build since you won't be needing it. Your heavy weapon / skill will be your primary weapon because the engineer has access to the relic perk called Surplus. Using a relic refills 15% of heavy weapon ammo. Bonus is doubled when heavy weapon is stowed. So now that you have access to that perk, you don't need any weapons. You're literally going to be able to use it at all times. And for this build, you'll be running Engineer as your prime archetype, so you can have the prime perk High Tech. Holding the skill button will overclock a carried or deployed heavy weapon. Overclocking grants infinite ammo, increased fire rate, and a 25% damage increase for 25 seconds. Cooldown 58 seconds. Then we're going to be using Summoner as our secondary archetype, so we can use the damage perk Dominator. Increases mod and skill damage by 35% and mod and skill critical chance by 5 while a minion is active. Now I'll be telling you guys about the mods and mutators that played a role into the build. So for my long gun, I use the Night Guard mod. Summons Night Guard to aid in combat. The guards hurl penetrating slashes at a random enemy, dealing 45 damage. The guards will melee enemies if close enough for 45 damage, lasts 20 seconds. Mod power requirement 405. Then I use the mutator failsafe, and I'll be showing you guys exactly how to get the Night Guard mod in case you guys want to know, because they do count, both swords count as summons, so that'll also give you the buff that you're looking for from Dominator perk that you get from the summoner. So in order to get the Night Guard, you're gonna need Crown of the Red Prince. I won't be showing you how to get it, but you can. There are plenty of videos out there that'll show you how to get this crown. It's not hard. So you're gonna need the Crown of the Red Prince, or if you have a friend that has it, that works too. Then you're gonna want to go to, then you need to roll a Lonesome Adventure and find your way to the Pathway of the Fallen dungeon. You'll want to progress until you reach the garden, progress all the way through, defeat the boss, the aberration boss. He'll drop a medallion. You'll want to keep going. Then you'll want to get to the mirror, want to go through the mirror. And once you get to the mirror, you'll want to find that big building in the middle of the map of the garden and use your medallion key to open the door. Go in there, make sure you have the crown on or put it on while you're in there, or have your friend that has it, make sure they have it on and go in there. And then you'll see a random just fire elemental animation on the wall. It'll carve out a tunnel that you'll have to walk through all the way down. There'll be some steps all the way down, and then you'll find the craftable item there. Then you'll have to go to Ward 13 and craft it with McCabe, and that's how you get the Night Guard. And the secondary weapon mod that I used was Familiar, which summons a fairy familiar to aid in combat. The familiar selects a random enemy within 10 meters and slashes through them for 75 damage. Each attack, familiar will select a new target when the previous one dies, last 15 seconds. And we combine that with the mutator Prophecy, fully maxed out. Using this weapons mod increases mod power generation by 6% for 10 seconds, max 5 stacks. That's a total of 30% once you get all 5 stacks. Once you max out, you get reduces mod power requirements of this weapons mod by 10%. You can swap out the relic for whatever you want, but I use the shielded heart relic, which on use grants a shield for 100% of max health, lasts 20 seconds or until shield is removed by damage. I really like it. It works very well for the build. It makes me a little bit tankier. Then the relic stones we're using is mythic range critical damage, mythic weak spot damage, and mythic skill damage. And for the build, you're going to want to find your heaviest armor. I'm using the Leto Mark II armor set. It's one of the tankier armor sets in the game because we want to capitalize on our archetype trait. The engineer has fortify. Armor effectiveness is increased by 50% once you max it out. Then we're going to be using strong back as well to help us have at least a better roll with that heavy armor that we have. Plus, we're going to be using blood bond, so archetype summons absorb 10% of damage taken by the caster, and bar skin, and that's going to be a nice 10% damage reduction once you max that out. Plus siphoner, because you gotta add lifesteal in there. It's always just helpful. Lifesteal is just dope. It's just the best thing ever. And now for the second build, it's 2 simple changes. All you're going to be doing is changing your amulet index of the scribe to silver ribbon amulet. This is how you get the silver ribbon amulet. You're going to want to do the statue event. I got it in the Pathway of the Fallen, but there are other locations that it does spawn in. Then you're going to want to find the ribbon. Once you grab that quest item, then you're going to want to run around and progress through the dungeon until you reach the statues. You're going to want to put the ribbon on the statues, and then you're literally going to want to leave that dungeon. Once you leave the dungeon, re-enter the dungeon and then make your way back to the statues, and there you have it, the silver ribbon. It gives you an increase of skill damage by 25%. Activating a skill grants haste for 15 seconds. And the last change you'll be making is to your relic. You'll be changing the relic stone weak spot damage from that to the range crit chance instead. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. If this video was helpful in any way, I want you to just hug the screen and have a good day. Peace out.